But let's face it, the people who go back into a Wetherspoons mid-June probably were going to win Darwin Awards anyway.
Oh, yeah! But think of the staff, though, Chris. Think of the staff.
I know. Well, hey, I think this is one instance where, regardless of their financial situation, there would be as many Just Giving accounts and GoFundMe accounts as possible donating toward Wetherspoon staff members if they chose to not go back to work.
Well, they are somewhat unionised now.
Really?
Yeah, they did do some organising
Good.
a couple of years back over, conditions at the Spoons.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if all of them are, but I think there's a couple of them that are. So, I'd have to look
enough
into
to,
it.
Rally. So, that's, hey, I hope so, because, Jesus Christ, they're the only business in the UK where the twat at the top has just gone, yep, we're looking to reopen mid-June. It's like,
well, of course he is.
You're looking to... Okay.
Of course
we
he
know
is.
the meteor's about to hit, but we're thinking we might open about a week after.
The meteor's...
What?
The meteor's about to hit. UFOs are real. The virus is consuming the world. Oh. It's the unholy trinity.
And cinema is dead.
And cinema
it's
is
like
dead.
Indiana Jones.
But
it's like Indiana Jones.
We're alive.
It's a trilogy with a crap epilogue.
Hey.
Much like us, boys and girls. Yeah, we are alive and we are big and we are damn. Big Damn Cast here with all the geeky gossip and nerdy news fit to scrape out the barrel of the very dry internet today. Because it turns out, aside from this biscuit I'm eating, there's not many interesting things in the world of popular culture
There's
right now,
literally
everybody.
nothing interesting in the world at all.
Sod all is happening.
Everything's awful.
So,
my heroes are dead and my enemies are in power.
Yeah, oh jeez, God, when you put it that way. Has the world been infected with the Parker look?
Yeah.
Like, that's what's happened. It's late 2000s Spider-Man. Steve Rogers is dead. We're not registered. Osborn's in power. We're screwed! I'm rereading Red-Headed Stranger at the minute. Yeah, that too, jeez. Yeah, I'm rereading Red-Headed Stranger at the minute. I forgot how terrifying Chameleon was in that short story arc.
Yeah, Chameleon's... Yeah.
He's got the blank face, and the issue 1 is bookended with him getting hold of this security guy. No, he's not even the security guy. He's the living statue who works outside the mayoral office. And the guy's just talking to him, saying, like, please just... He's strapped to a chair, and he's like, please let me go. Like, I don't even have any money. Dude, I earn, like, next to nothing. And Chameleon's, like, repeating back to him, like, dude, I earn, like, next to nothing. And he's obviously, like, practicing the voice.
Yeah.
And then he shoots this, like, gunk thing at the guy's face, and it solidifies, and he suffocates, and he dies, and the chameleon peels it off and puts it into the mold to create the mask of the guy's face. And he presses a button, and the chair he's strapped to descends on a mechanized thing into a vat of acid under the floor to melt the body away. And then the chair comes back up, dripping and draining, and you're like, this is terrifying. And then the same thing happens at the very end of the issue to Peter Parker, and you're like, oh my God! It's horrifying. And then they wait a whole issue of Chameleon effing around in Peter's life, like getting close to the mayor and everything, before at the very end of the issue, Peter breaks through the floor, and you realise that he's somehow managed to survive, like, the acid bath, and he gets out, and he's like, oh my God. And I put it down there, it was like 2 a.m, I was like, I can't remember exactly what happens next, but I'm not sitting up to read it, because I won't go to sleep.
I have been reading more Fantastic Four.
Yeah!
I'm currently in the Walt Simonson run.
You don't need no more.
And things got his thing back.
Beg your pardon?
Things got his thing back.
Is that like how Stella got her groove back?
So for a while, Ben Grimm wasn't the thing. But Sharon Ventura was the she thing, but also Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
So...
70s?
No, this is late 80s. This is 1991, I think I'm at now.
Oh, good God.
End of 1990
this explains so much.
1991.
This explains so much about the world you grew into as a toddler and the world I was born into.
I've read nearly 30 years of Fantastic Four at this point.
Some would say that's a terrible mistake.
I don't know. The John Byrne stuff's really great. The Walt Simonson stuff so far is mostly pretty good. Some of it not so much.
Well, that was back when John Byrne was like knocking it out of the park. Man of Steel.
John Byrne came on to Fantastic Four off the back of Dark Phoenix.
Oh, there you go.
So he came out of his X-Men run and went straight into Fantastic Four. But the difference being that Fantastic Four was his first like full writing gig.
Yeah.
So he was co-plotting with Chris Claremont on X-Men, and then he wrote and drew Fantastic Four.
Jesus.
Did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
And then, Man of Steel. Cracking stuff.
My introduction to him wasn't good. My introduction to John Byrne's writing was the late 90s, early 2000s Spider-Man. No, hang on. No, he was... to be fair, he wasn't writing. Howard Mackie?
Oh, Howard Mackie, yeah, that's not a good run on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's
awful.
The stuff immediately prior to Jay Straczynski, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the run ends really good. Amazing Spider-Man, as it ended in, like, 99, is great. Because it's like John Romita Jr.'s there, and he's finally starting to hone the style we now know to be his style.
Yeah.
It's where like, he's holding up the bugle, and he saves the day and everything. And then Jameson's, like, bollocking him, and he just comes out of it all, and he just goes, screw you. Forget it. And it's like, what? And he's like, no, forget it. And he just walks away and decides, no, seriously, that's it. I'm throwing the towel in. This is ridiculous. Like, what am I doing with my life? And the book ends, and you're like, what? And then Amazing Spider-Man #1 comes out, like, 4 or 5 months later. You're like, wait, what? What do you mean #1? What's that? This was the first time it was, like, volume 2.
Yeah.
And it was so bizarre. And that's when an imposter's swinging around being Spider-Man, and Peter's watching it, like, going about his life, being like, I don't know. No, maybe I should get involved. No, living a normal life. Everything's finally looking up. Okay, everything's good. We're having a good time. Everything's great. No, not getting involved. Yep, don't care that there's a Spider-Man out there. Oh, God, they were a bit sloppy there. They might have died. Maybe I should talk to them. But no, not happening. And then he finally does, and it ends up being, what's her face, the lady who becomes, what's her name, Matty whatever, where she becomes like Spider-Woman.
Matty Franklin.
Yeah.
She's Spider-Girl. She's also...
At this point, she's like 15, and she's like strapping her chest down and all this, and trying to look like Spider-Man as much as she can, so that no one would ever suspect it was a young girl being Spider-Man.
Well, she's also J. Jonah Jameson's foster daughter.
Yeah,
and
which they seem to forget about.
She's also in an arc of Alias.
Yes,
where
she is.
She's being used as a source of mutant growth hormone for a bunch of junkies.
Yeah,
she goes, run away.
She's one of those characters who they were like, oh, this will be great, and then no one really did anything with her, and then someone went, oh, we could do something with her, and then they did it, and then nothing else happened, and then eventually she gets mentioned at some point, and then they move on, and you're like...
I feel like that happened to a lot of, like, Spider-Girl, Spider-Woman characters. Like, Julia Carpenter eventually got to be Madam Web.
Yeah.
So that was something.
But that took them killing off Madam Web for them to open that up to even be a possibility.
Because Jessica Drew was all over the place.
Yeah. She's been the most prosperous.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, actually having a storyline, a fan base.
Aranya? Remember Aranya?
I have an Aranya figure from her redesign where she's got, like, a more symbiote-looking suit. Like, it's black with the white stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she for ages was, like, in trainers and a backpack and all that stuff. And was, like, trendy 2000 teenager kind of design.
Mm-hmm.
And
MC2 Spider-Girl kept running for a long time, though, after the rest of the MC2 stuff finished.
That was a pretty good book. And I think part of the reason for that, though, aside from what if their daughter had lived and was actually born and was a spider person and alternate future? Like, apart from that kind of fun what if premise, what was her name? Mayday Parker. The other, and also the joy of, oh, I can't believe that horrible thing happened to them. Oh, in this book, I can pretend that never did happen to them.
Yeah.
Aside from that, the Ben Reilly costume, like the second costume, his Spider-Man costume, was a cool costume, and that book was a way for you to still see that design being used.
Yeah, it is a cool costume.
That was her costume. Because she wears her late Uncle Ben Reilly's costume, and that becomes her costume.
Because I remember reading an issue of X-Men.
Oh, by the way, everybody, my name's Chris.
Oh, my name's Matt. Hello.
So, you said about X-Men.
God, I remember reading an issue of X-Men. This was in the Essential X-Men reprints, so it would have been a couple of years after it came out in the States, and it was just after the Onslaught event. It was after I'd started picking it up again.
Oh my god, that thing!
And Spider-Man has a cameo, but it's Ben Reilly. It doesn't really tell you it's Ben Reilly. It's got the little editor's note saying, "See what's going on in Spider-Man number why Spidey's being weird." But it was the cool Ben Reilly costume, and then he swings in and he's like, and he talks as if it's still the 60s. Like he still thinks Jean Grey's called Marvel Girl.
Yeah, because he's like not seen her since a certain point in his life. Yeah.
So that was weird. And also there's a...
That's what it was like for any Superior Spider-Man appearance during that 2 years recently.
Pretty much.
So many of the books made a point of being like, think Spidey's acting weird? You need to catch up with Superior Spider-Man. Trade paperback available now.
But then a little bit after that, in Operation Zero Tolerance, another big X-Men event, there's a whole fucking interlude where Jean Grey has some sort of psychic moment and gets shunted off into the Heroes Reborn bottle dimension and meets Iron Man, who has no idea what mutants or X-Men or Jean Grey is. And then she suddenly ends up back... Like, it's literally like... It's like 3 pages at the start of an issue. Of, like, Jean Grey being... But Iron Man's dead. And Iron Man being like, what's a mutant?
So basically, for those who are wondering what we're talking about, in the 90s, on at least like one big occasion, Marvel tried to do a DC where they tried to reboot the continuity of their universe. Sort of, because it didn't affect every book.
We can't get into Heroes Reborn and Onslaught right now. We can't do it. We cannot do it.
You know what's happening with the DC films right now, guys, where the Ben Affleck Batman doesn't seem to be a thing that's going to exist ever again, but Wonder Woman and Aquaman and all that are going to keep going on, whilst there's also going to be another Batman over there.
Yeah, but
and there's also another Joker already that's nothing to do with either of them. That's basically what Marvel nearly became in the 90s.
Here's the thing, though. Heroes Reborn happened after they already did the whole Tony Stark's evil now, so we're going to bring Teen Tony Stark from the past or another timeline and gonna kill him and then replace him with the teen Tony Stark. Teeny Stark.
Was that retconned by Heroes Reborn?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Because I was going to say, imagine if you're reading Iron Man right now, and it just pops up into your head, oh yeah, this is alternate past timeline Tony Stark grown up and accelerated in age.
Don't. Oh, also...
Oh, it's like that with Spidey. It's like, oh, this isn't actually... Every now and again I remember in Modern Spidey, oh yeah, this isn't actually Peter. It's an echo memory of Peter that is now Peter. It's basically Peter, but it isn't the Peter who lived and had those experiences.
But it is,
He is officially gone. But he isn't.
But it is, though.
But he's not.
You're the only person...
Because they make a whole point of it's like a residual echo in his head.
You're the only person
in
who
Ock's
thinks
head.
that.
But Dan Slott liked to play around with that because the whole clone conspiracy thing was the idea of like, but they are alive. Like this is, Martha and Billy Connors. This is them. You got to give them these pills so that they're still alive, but it's them.
I'm not saying it wasn't the case. I'm just saying as soon as Dan stopped writing that title, it stopped mattering.
Oh no, exactly. But like every now and again, I always remember that, and I'm like, God, that is weird when you think about it. When you think about it, that is weird.
But don't think about it when you're reading the Nick Spencer stuff.
I don't. I've only read 2 volumes of it, and I really, really like it. I'm saving it up now as like a. I want to buy trade paperback 4, which is the Craven stuff.
Yes,
but it's a bulky paperback, so the cheapest I've found it even now is like $24.99.
Ooh, that's a chunk.
And that's from like Book Depot with like reduction. But I think it's because it's a really bulky paperback. So
yeah,
it's closer to an Ultimate Collection. I'll get there.
Speaking of bulky paperbacks, something we'll come back to later. I read the first arc of Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 8.
Oh yeah, Twilight.
Because I finished watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 7.
I love season 8. I especially love that it's just like, hi everybody. You're gonna have to piece together what you've missed over the course of like the 2 years that take place between the series ending and the comic starting. That giant lady, that is Dawn. Yeah. Anyway, so you're like, wait, what? What is happening? Why is Xander Nick Furying in a castle? Why are they in Scotland? What is it? I love season 8. And the fact that it begins with like a meeting of some of the big bads, like having a fucking conference.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? It's so comic book. I love it. It feels like it translated to the medium beautifully. It's great.
It feels very.
So you finished. You finished Buffy season 7.
Yeah, but we should talk about the news before we talk about Buffy.
No, that's never excusable. That's never a thing that should ever be.
Because we can sink our teeth into Buffy, so to speak.
Was that a vampire pun?
A little bit. And now,
I liked it.
Also, now I've started on Angel, so we watched like 7 episodes of Angel last night.
Oh my god! Oh my god! So right now you are Angel and Cordelia and Doyle.
Yeah, the last one we watched was.
Happy days.
I got the order mixed up, so I can't remember which one we watched last. But it was either the.
Oh, is it on the DVDs where like there's an episode up here, one up here, one up here, one up here? There's no like linear way to just click on it and press play.
We watched them in the right order. I just can't remember which was the last one we watched. It was either the one with the brain eating bachelor party, or the doctor who can detach his limbs.
Oh god! Right. Oh, I love Angel's Monster of the Week concepts because they pull it off so well, and they're all ridiculous. They're all ridiculous, and yet you come out of it going, yeah, it was actually pretty creepy, that was pretty scary. For example, episode 2, they do the sex monster a million times better than Torchwood did a few years later.
Yes, we had that very discussion when we were watching it.
It's weird, isn't it? How Torchwood's second episode, the series inspired by Angel, its second episode rips off Angel and does it awfully.
Fucking Torchwood.
That's a Chibnall episode as well. It's like, oh god. And then a few years later, it gives us Broadchurch. And it's like, okay, dude can write. I'm there. This is great.
He made some errors on his Doctor Who, his early Doctor Who and Torchwood work. Lest we talk more about Cyberwoman. Let's not talk about Cyberwoman anymore. When's the Cyberwoman rewatch happening, everyone? Ooh,
she punches a pterodactyl that's trying to eat her because she's covered in barbecue sauce. This is the grown-up spin-off.
So there's a little bit of news this week.
The Time Lord Victorious! Cyberwoman 2!
Time Lord Victorious, a.k.a. Star Wars The High Republic, but for Doctor Who.
Yeah, and in a way that the key announcement has made it sound really confusing. Like, it's not clear. It sounds like... So, long story short, it's an 8th, 9th, and 10th Doctor crossover event featuring Rose Tyler. And it will be Big Finish audios, and books, and immersive theatre at some point, and an escape room at some point.
That's going to be odd.
And a comic. And I think one of the things one of the companies they're working with like specialise in role play games, and it's like, right, so yeah, I'm not doubtful of them being able to pull off something like this because we've seen other companies do it for years. As Star Wars especially has always done versions of this, where it's like, here's a period, here's an arc, and you get the gist of it all, and you can explore the world during this time. Okay, sure, but without there being a central hub, it feels kind of weird. Like, without them saying, it will be a series of 3 audios, and everything else is, like, expanded media, supplemental. If you can make it, you can make it. If you can't, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll still get the story. It's not like a Marvel crossover event, Marvel book. We have a solid, like, 8 issues telling a story, and everything else is just, if you can splash the cash at it, like, you can read it, or if you can wait for it to become available later, you can read it, and it's just extra stuff, you know. It's here's the meat and potatoes, and dessert is optional. Whereas it appears for this, it's the dessert is meat and potatoes, and you've got to try and keep up with it all. But also, we've announced this worldwide, and yet 2 of the things will be exclusive to the UK.
It's like that last one, Come Down With Me, you put sausages in a trifle.
Yeah. The trifle victorious.
I don't know how, but... Meat and potatoes for dessert just brought that to mind. So, here we go. The biggest news story of the week so far.
That was us reluctantly talking about Doctor Who. Drink it in!
Oh, we're going to get some more Doctor Who later, don't worry.
There's more Doctor Who later!
There's more to come.
Wait for the dessert.
AMC.
Oh, Jesus.
The US's largest cinema chain has said it will refuse to show movies released by Hollywood studio Universal.
Now, that's a biggie, because, that's a cinema, an entire chain saying, hey, we aren't going to show films that are made by or distributed by this company anymore.
Well, this is
one of the few remaining big distribution companies in cinema in the West.
Well, I was thinking, if you're talking about big studios, you've got Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, and Sony.
There's a few other out there that do releases and distribution, but they're not as big.
I wouldn't put Lionsgate on the same level as a Sony or that. After Sony, you're getting into like your Lionsgates and your A24s, which are kind of indie.
Yeah, they're not spending the biggest bucks in the team.
No.
They're the dessert, if you will, to Universal's meat and potatoes. An original analogy that I just came up with.
Oh, meat and potatoes for dessert.
Sausage and the trifle.
So. Yeah, Keeks has been watching a lot of Come Down With Me, so by extension, I've been watching a lot of Come Down With Me, so I have a lot of that voice in my head at all times.
No!
Oh!
Oh, he's put his sausage in the trifle!
Oh, God. Not quite right!
Oh, Dave Lamb.
Is it now?
His shirts are louder than his voice, true fact.
He sounds like he has a lot of fun, so I can't fault him. And it must be fun to just sit in the voice booth and take the piss out of the idiots that are on screen. Because they often are. And then occasionally you get one person who's like, "Your proper sound. Fuck these cunts off." Anyway, AMC, fucking these cunts off.
AMC have been broadcasting Come Dine With Me in HD.
So, basically, Universal turned around and said they're going to keep releasing films simultaneously via cinemas and streaming after the cinemas are open again when the lockdown's lifted, because they released Trolls 2, Trolls World Tour, straight to video on demand, because none of the cinemas were open and it made them a bunch of fucking money.
Because people's crotch goblins wanted to watch films, and any crotch goblin who loved Trolls wanted to watch Trolls World Tour. And oh look, Mum and Dad, if you spend $15.99 now, we can rent it for 3 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course it was going to make them money, and it was mostly a move at that moment for that studio to save itself financially, because there could have been some issues. Marketing has gone out for a lot of movies that are now being rescheduled for later in the year
or next year.
And aside from digital marketing, you ain't going to be seeing posters up everywhere for the likes of films like Black Widow and Scoob later in the year, because they've already put the money and the time and the effort into getting them distributed now. So Trolls World Tour was like, our billboards are everywhere, people want to see it, let's make it available. Smart decision, interesting experiment, but fair enough. They wanted to make that call, they made that call. Well, off the back of it,
apparently it's made about $100 million since its VOD release on the 10th of April.
So it's done all right then.
They'll get a larger share of that than they would have done of a cinema release, and by comparison, the original Trolls, by this point in its release, had earned $120 million.
So it's not that much of a loss overall.
Yeah, it's earned slightly less money, but they get more of it. So of course they're going to do that. So what happened is that AMC CEO...
AMC
CEO Adam Aaron...
AMC?
See?
Oh.
Adam Aaron wrote a letter to Universal Chair Donald Langley, which was then published in Deadline. And
what I love about that is he sounds like a Stanley era superhero Secret Identity, and she sounds like a Dick Sprang era reporter for a newspaper.
It's very Dick Sprang, yeah.
My Dick Spranged.
Hey, she published, but he wrote, and the letter was published Deadline, and I quote: "We want to be absolutely clear. AMC believes that with this proposed action to go to the home and theatres simultaneously, Universal is breaking the business model and dealings between our two companies." And he goes on to say, Universal's unilateral actions and intentions have left us with no choice. Therefore, effectively immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theatres in the United States, Europe, or the Middle East.
So basically, folks, if you want a Universal movie, you will have to video on demand it. Now, during a lockdown, true, but during a lockdown, that may suit Universal fine. When the world's opened up again, that is going to be a large chunk of additional revenue no longer going their way.
I mean, theatres are already on their asses, but theatres are partly already on their asses because going to the cinema is shit now.
Yeah.
But it's shit because they're on their asses. Because it's shit. Because they're on their asses, it's shit. And because it's shit, nobody's going, so they're on their asses. It's a vicious cycle. It's capitalism
the shitty arse cycle.
It because it's just run purely for profit. The visitor experience is becoming less and less
of a draw
because it's just not good. Like,
we're quite lucky because our chosen cinema is a former American style designed and ran cinema that has gone back to their UK branch over time, but the layout of that cinema and the cleanliness of that cinema in particular is a lot more desirable than many of our other options in the local area, including ones of the same brand.
But it has gotten worse since it went back to Odeon. Let's name and shame, Christopher, because Odeon are also the UK franchise of AMC.
AMC. So people are like, well, how does that affect us?
Well,
if your local
Odeon.
cinema's an Odeon, or if you're paying for a limitless membership for Odeon as a we, or if Odeon is like just your preferred cinema option, it is, as of this current announcement, no longer going to be showing about a fifth of the large distributed movies going forward per year.
And this might all get tidied up before the lockdown lifts.
Universal might go, no, we can't have that. Let's work out a deal here.
But if I was Universal, I doubt it, because without the movie studios, what have the movie theaters got to sell? Overpriced sweets.
Yeah,
you go sit in a dark room and eat overpriced sweets.
Yeah. They could. One could argue they could get by doing marathon event, like make it more of an event thing. Marathon events, rescreening of classic movies.
Yeah, but they still have to get the rights to them.
Sure, exactly. They still have to get the rights, and not only that, theaters kind of have the market on that recently. What with concert tours for live scoring for films, smaller theaters doing movie nights and movie screenings during family holidays. So, that they're going. They're going to struggle, and I think that's why they're putting their foot down. Why the AMC is putting his foot down so much. It's to make that point of, look, you are going to lose money from us, and hoping that they will realise that before they then go, yeah, but you're going to lose money too.
But it's also, AMC are in trouble. Yeah. Not only is the cinema industry on its ass anyway, but they've got 25,000 furloughed employees.
Yeah,
and they recently said they're going to have to sell off about $500 million in debt to try and remain liquid.
A thing.
And it's just...
Yeah.
But, I mean, and Universal's plans are not, like... I think the next one they've said that they're going to go straight to streaming is the Judd Apatow comedy King of Staten Island, which is Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of movie that wasn't going to... Like, that's not going to set the world on
fire. That wasn't going to
anyway.
break the bank, It's the kind of film that in other circumstances may even just have had, like, a 2-week theatrical run and then gone to video on demand anyway.
Exactly. And, like, most people would have
been...
They'd have found it flicking through Netflix a year and a half after it came out or whatever. But then Fast and Furious has been delayed...
For a year.
Till April. So it'd be interesting to see if Fast and Furious 9, F9, is going to come out... in the cinema and on demand at the same time. That'll be intriguing.
Or whether or not Universal just go, fuck it, and like in August go, here it is, Fast and the Furious 9.
Yeah, but it's also
on demand.
it's also a case that the other studios haven't really made their moves on this yet. Warner Brothers are doing Scoob straight to VOD in May.
Really?
So later this month by the time you hear this.
Damn.
And then...
That will be a big loss for Warner Brothers overall.
And of course, Artemis Fowl...
Unless the world suddenly goes like, sure!
Yeah.
Like, this is the model we all want now.
And then Artemis Fowl's going straight to Disney+.
Yeah.
In June.
Which shows a lot more about the lack of faith. Unless they're about to do another big marketing push ahead of August, and Artemis is going to be one of the, like, you know, tentpole items of all new movies, like Artemis Fowl. If they manage to get Falcon and Winter Soldier out at its originally scheduled time of late August,
which I doubt they will.
Obviously, yeah, that they said they had at least 2 more weeks of filming to do.
Yeah, they're not going to be able
because obviously the first like 3 or 4 episodes are probably already in post production right now and close to completion. But then again, they might release the first half of the season and then release the second half later in the year.
They might release a Snyder Cut.
Release the butthole cut. Release the Scarlett Johansson digital Scarlett Johansson technology cut.
God.
They're developing that, you know. It's an odd one. Disney looks set to be waiting for the cinemas reopening before they make any kind of move, but because they've put the big slate of Marvel releases back. Again, as of recently of yesterday, they've all been adjusted again ever so slightly. Doctor Strange has been pushed back definitively to 2022.
Sorry, my cat was just walking across the computer.
Oh, yeah, they want to hear the news. Whereas the Spidey Sony venture seems to have been moved forward slightly toward the end of 2021, which shows that they're hopeful about that one getting filmed.
It might be a case that they can actually do, because it's... Oh no, that's the Spidey live action one. Sorry, I was distracted by the cat.
Oh yeah, not Spider-Verse is where it always was, which is December 2022.
Same as it ever was.
Yeah. So, you know, but Disney haven't budged in terms of their sign. The signposts they're giving out seem to be, we're going to wait till theaters reopen.
But also they've been
Artemis Fowl's a sacrifice, but we're going to wait for theaters to reopen, and yet that might just be because they have the monopoly. So now more than ever, they're relying on theatres to be open because they have
Disney
the dominant
are
hold
not
on
afraid
that.
of strong arm in cinemas, and they never
That's
have
true.
because they've been doing that increasingly with the Star Wars films.
But that's what I mean. Like that's their play. That's their chess game is using the theatres as part of their revenue. So they're not going to betray that. They're not going to then turn around the theatres and say laters. They're going to always Disney. Let's stress this again. Walt Disney Pictures is who we're talking about, and they are absolutely the villain in every scenario here.
Yep.
Because they're either strong arming the cinemas into forcing just their stuff to be screened, or in this case, they're like, hey, don't worry, cinemas, we'll stick with you. We'll wait for you to reopen. Oh, thank God. Yeah. Because you're still our bitch, right? So, oh shit. Yeah, Artemis Fowl's a sacrifice because I guess they've just looked at it and the delayed releases it's already had, maybe test screenings, they've just gone, look, let's just put this on Plus and we'll make it like a Plus incentive. Like, hey, brand new film for your kids. Here it is. Come watch it.
Yeah.
I guarantee it'll still get a physical release later in the year ahead of Christmas. They'll definitely still do like Blu-ray, DVD and everything and put it out into the world.
Because they're never one to miss out on merchandise, is Disney.
No. Unlike their other Disney Plus exclusive stuff, which obviously they're going to wait a long time before there's a physical release. Like The Mandalorian is not being given a physical release for a long time.
It's like the Netflix stuff. How long did it take some of the Netflix stuff to start coming out on DVD and Blu-ray?
Yeah. Interestingly, so it's always like a minimum of a year before it comes out, maximum of 2 years usually, and they never make a point of saying this is out and available now.
Yeah,
like, it's just put out there into the world. Yeah. Because I've been looking to do that. We've been weighing up our options with our streaming services and everything. We're kind of like, do we ditch Netflix maybe? But we share our Netflix with my in-laws. So like, you know, they use it enough that we're like, right, do we just decide that we're all going to chuck some into it each month?
Yeah.
And, you know, we all put toward it. because we love it, but we spend more time browsing it than we do picking anything. And yet, at the moment, while we have Disney Plus, we are really using that. Disney Plus ain't bottomless. It definitely has like a limit you hit where you go, yeah, I've seen everything I want to watch here.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the moment, it's something we're really enjoying. So, whereas Netflix, we just find ourselves browsing it, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So...
Well, I find myself browsing Netflix and Amazon Prime a lot because I'm looking for something that just isn't on there. Like, I'm like, I want this thing or this thing, and it's just not on there because with Netflix, they have the rights to it, or with Amazon, it's on one of their fucking Amazon Prime video channels that you have to pay extra for.
Oh, God, stop. Yeah, what did I buy the other day? We bought Knives Out. I bought Knives Out on Blu-ray. We were at the shop and I saw it and I was like, I'm going to buy it now because it's this one little... While we're out getting our supermarket stuff, it's that one little fraction of normalcy, and I've really wanted to show it to Lou the moment I knew I'd be able to bring it home.
Yeah.
So I'm picking it up. Here it is. Boom. Bringing Knives Out home. Digital copy. There's a digital copy in it. That stopped, but it looks like some places are now putting a Google Play digital copy in.
Yeah.
So you can have it on your YouTube. And I'm like, yes. So I was like, right, we're not watching it tonight, but I'm going to crack it open. I'm going to get the digital code out, and I'm going to get it in before I forget. Because it's even got a shorter window. It's like the end of 2020 is when you can't use the digital copy.
Oh, okay.
Like, you can't register it.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, well, normally it's like 2 or 3 years, and now it's like 8 months. I was like, I'll get that done now. I opened it up. Two, sir, leaflets for Stars Play fell out.
Fuck.
2. And again, it's all stuff that, like, you have to pay for that extra service.
Well, I really want to watch a lot of old weird horror stuff, but with the odd exception, for most of that stuff streaming-wise is on Shudder. Which is either a separate subscription or a fucking Amazon Prime Video channel, which it's not something I can justify right now.
It's nuts. It's bizarre how they're doing this. Like Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol's still currently on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Like season 1.
I think no,
but that
no, I don't think it is. I don't think it ever went to Netflix.
I'm sure it was for a bit.
Titans did.
I remember. I think I queued it, or I was going to queue it.
No, Titans did, but Doom Patrol didn't.
Oh, I guess we're never getting DC Universe over here, for sure, because, there were rumours the reason that sort of gone all quiet is because it was looking like Warner Brothers were going to have to just fold it into HBO Max anyway.
Yeah.
But now there's more further proof that it's not happening because a week from now, so sometime next week, E4 in the UK will be showing and having on their demand services the second half of Rick and Morty Season 4 will be starting.
Mm-hmm.
And Harley Quinn.
Yes.
The DC Universe animated series.
Yeah, yeah.
So further proof with Swamp Thing on Amazon Prime and Harley Quinn on E4 and Titans on Netflix and Stars Play getting hold of Doom Patrol. Further proof that we are never getting the DC Universe application in Europe.
Never.
Which sucks because the main reason I wanted it wasn't the original programming. I wanted to get like that comic archive and all the TV stuff on an app. Like that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be a thing.
It's never going to happen for you. But it's funny you should mention HBO.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
Sorry, the kettle was on. One sec. There we are.
Go pour yourself a drink.
Yeah.
HBO. Fuck.
Just said, the reason I paused then is I've got a flask next to me with water in that I keep at my desk. And I've got a cup of tea. And I thought my cup was empty. And I was going to pour that flask into the cup near the microphone to simulate me making myself a drink, as you so lovely instructed. But as my brain kind of put that little equation of events together, this little extra section popped up and went, "You still got tea in your cup, you fucking idiot."
Also...
You don't want to water your tea down! So, I just froze on the spot.
It wouldn't fool the observant listener as... Water sounds different when it's poured, depending on its temperature.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, let's test it out.
Well, no, you need to test it out with hot water as well.
No, sorry. Well, here's the cold water.
I can't hear that.
There we are. Okay, I'll pick up on the mic. So there's the cold water.
I'll hear it in the edit.
Here's the hot water. That was weird. That was strange. So it's weird because in the room to me it just sounded like hot water pouring, but I can see on my Audacity software that there was a big spike there. That was strange.
Fucking hell. I hate you.
Oh.
HBO. You mentioned HBO. They've got a streaming service now. But this isn't about their streaming service. This is about them picking up the rights to a... I'm going to say classic, with a big question mark, horror franchise.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, let's just be honest. Franchise. They saw something that had franchise potential and bought the rights.
So they have done a deal to develop a Hellraiser TV series.
What in living hell, Razor, could that even consist of?
Well, it's going to consist of David Gordon Green, he who brought back Halloween. From the dead, so to speak, in 2018, and is currently, working on Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills is still slated for October. Whether it'll make it depends on how much
filming they'd already done,
and how much filming they got done. Also, joining him as executive producers, slated to write the pilot and run the series, are Mark Verheiden and Michael Dougherty. Michael Dougherty, of course, directing Trick or Treat, which I've not seen, but apparently is very good.
It's very good.
And
it is very, very good.
He also wrote and directed Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I really liked. Some people didn't like much, but I liked it a lot.
You're wrong about it.
I watched it again when it came on Now TV, and I still fucking love it. And I will fight you, because it's thunderously stupid, and I love it.
It's you and Movie Bob. It's just the two of you.
It's so good. It's so good. They go Atlantis, and there's the Hollow Earth, and they set off a nuke at the center of the Earth, and they revive Godzilla, and it's so good.
Give me a cut where they edit out all the human bits, and I'll watch it and love it. I guarantee.
Nope.
Just give me a cut of the last 20 minutes, but it's just Ghidorah, Godzilla, and Mothra fighting, and I'll be happy. Mothra! She makes the sacrifice play.
I love it. Mark Verheiden, on the other hand, he has worked on Battlestar Galactica.
The revived TV series, yeah.
Yep. Daredevil for Netflix. And most interestingly, related to this, the Swamp Thing TV series from DC Universe.
Which this week DC advertised in their like email, like their weekly like email newsletter thing, where they basically said like things to do and a lot of things to watch on lockdown, this, that, and the other, and they referred to it as Swamp Thing Series 1, and I'm like, you twats! Call it what you should call it. The series we killed. Don't call it Season 1. Yep. It's the only one we're going to get. But it was really good, so him being involved in a horror TV series is a good sign.
Well, apparently they're expecting it to be a continuation of the franchise.
Right,
so
okay.
It will assume that all the past mythology is a given.
Okay, so it happened. It happened, but is... Oh, go on.
Whether that includes all of the various straight-to-video sequels or not, which I still haven't seen all of. I need to get on that. I'm in lockdown, I need to finish them.
It sounds to me like they're going, look, all the things that the passionate fan base, because it has like the same as most horror franchises, a rabid passionate fan base. It's like, hey guys, the stuff you loved, it still matters, but it's likely their series is going to start from and if you've never seen any of it, this is a jumping on point for you kind of framework.
I think the smart
Ash
play
vs Evil Dead style.
Yeah, as vague about what went before as possible, but specific enough that people who know will know. If you know, you know.
Don Mancini's been saying it for the. Oh God, we'll have to get Stars Play for that. Don Mancini's been saying that about the TV series that was called Child's Play and is now called Chucky.
Yeah.
That is also going to be it's a continuation from Cult of Chucky, which has a very specific like resetting of events by the end of it that put things in a place you'd never imagine.
The game has changed.
Yeah. Cube 2. But it's no
I think you'll find it's Cube 2 Hypercube.
Oh God, yeah, of course, Hypercube.
I've not seen Hypercube. I've only seen the first Cube.
The first Cube is Okay, it's very 90s. But anyway,
it's super 90s, but I quite like it.
But it's like the Child's Play TV series is going to be something that he said that if you've never seen any of it, from Ep 1 you'll get it, and you'll pick up as you go, which suggests to me with that we're going to be focusing on like a new central character to lead the story.
Yeah.
And they're going to discover, like, through their eyes, new viewers will discover what's going on. And I imagine that'd be the same with Hellraiser, because what is, for those who don't know, the basic premise of Hellraiser?
There's a box.
Yeah.
There's a puzzle box. And if you open the box, you summon the Cenobites, and they're explorers in the further realms of sensation, and they're demons to some and angels to others, and they will tear your soul apart. They're basically like BDSM demons.
BDSM.
But like extreme BDSM.
Like
bodily
mutilation,
mutilation. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And yeah,
we have such weird sights to show you.
Are they punishing sinners? Are they giving you experiences that you deserve? Do they have a morality? Who knows?
But the various straight-to-video sequels will attempt to find out.
Various straight-to-video sequels will almost never address it.
Isn't one of them a reboot as well? Like the most recent one is like a soft reboot of it all. That probably acted as unwittingly as a testing ground for this being a concept that was greenlit.
So it's complicated, but the last two, have both been attempts at sort of reboots.
Okay.
It's yeah.
Do you need to reboot Hellraiser? Like it surely could be a Freddy Krueger kind of monster of the week in reverse sort of thing, where it's like we meet a new protagonist and stuff happens to them because of the box.
That's what it kind of became, but to diminishing returns.
That doesn't need like continuity resets, really, does it?
Well, David S. Goyer's doing it anyway.
No.
He's trying to get a reboot film off the ground.
Christ.
That's already been announced. Whether that will happen or not, I hope not, because let us not forget that David S. Goyer is a fucking hack. But
but he wrote The Dark Knight! So did two of the Nolans, and they've been proven to write films better overall.
He wrote some of The Dark Knight.
They also don't make comments about She-Hulk fucking Hulk.
Yes,
so,
there is that also, of course. So I don't know what a Hellraiser... There has been some like anthology-style Hellraiser comics that Marvel did in their Epic line in the late 80s, early 90s, which some people remember quite fondly. There was a Boom Studios comic, which is an interesting continuation.
Boom have done some good work carrying on horror franchises before.
Yeah.
They do quite good stuff.
Clive Barker himself wrote a sequel to the original novella. So the Hellraiser is based on a novella called The Hellbound Heart. Clive Barker wrote a sequel called The Scarlet Gospels.
That's a great name.
Which focuses on the novella. It doesn't really take into account any of the film stuff, but it plays with some of the ideas and some of the other characters that Clive Barker's touched on in other things.
Bastard.
It's got a bit more of an urban fantasy feel than a gothic horror feel.
Yeah.
I got it from the library and I never finished it. I need to get it out again. So yeah, there's plenty of ways they could go with it, basically. It depends on what elements of the original franchise that they're interested in developing. So it's difficult to say. Difficult to say.
Well, it'll be reaching our screens at this rate
Never.
in 2027 as a eventual just TV movie cobbling together the first two episodes that go into production before the third wave of coronavirus comes to kill us all.
Yay.
What?
So, in terms of long gaps, long waits, I finally watched the last season of Buffy this last week.
Yeah, you did.
Or the last half of it, because I'd watched a lot of it on original reception. That's what I think Keek said it was like 17 years.
Yeah, 2003. Yeah.
After it originally aired. It's taken me 17 years to finish Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I want to tell you what I think. He's been watching it on a VHS, folks, and it got stuck in season 1's I, Robot You, Jane, and he just couldn't get past it. Couldn't get off it.
Someone bring me a very big pencil. I need to re-spool this VHS.
I wish the show had ended at season 5. As was the original plan.
As was the plan, yeah. For those who don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a 5-season show, but around that time, Fox, their distribution rights for television started to change hands, and the WB, the new network run by Warner Brothers,
was 5 seasons of TV in a 7-season bag.
Yeah. They turned around, they went, season 5 is rating like gangbusters. We will give you 2 more seasons right now, Joss Whedon, the showrunner, if you want it. And Joss went, but I kind of was finishing it with this season. They went, 2 more seasons, Joss. And he said in interviews since that like he doesn't regret making the decision he did, because the reason he made it was because he looked at that team and the crew making the show, like the hundreds of people who work on it behind the scenes, this, that, and the other. With that commission, all of them would instantly be offered contracts for a 2-year job.
Yeah.
And they were. And that's why he said yes to it. And after he signed the contract, he went, oh, actually. And that's when the idea struck of how to carry the story on without changing the end of season 5.
Well,
but season 5 ends, spoiler alert for a 19-year-old season of television, with Buffy dying. She sacrifices herself to close this rift and save her sister and in turn save the world. And it ends with her dead. And it's a perfect ending. She dies a hero and her sister gets to live on and all of her friends are better for having known her, and oh my god, what a conclusion. And it doesn't end with a teaser, does it? Of like, but maybe. Like it ends. And you could stop right there. And then Buffy's resurrected by her friends at the start of season 6 because they had it in their heads for some reason.
Because they're selfish pricks, that's why.
That's why I don't hate season 6, because when they start to get into all that, and like, why did we do this? And of course then finding out in the musical episode, she was basically in whatever equates to heaven.
Yeah.
And then they're like, the guilt from that like starts to pile on top of them, and you realise why she's not quite right, and then she starts to do horrible things just to feel as the series goes on, including horrible like violations of intimacy.
Yeah, season 6
Spike.
Gets pretty fucking dark.
But then that leads to the interesting cliffhanger of series 6, where we find out Spike has been going away, and we think he's going to get himself ready to basically get the chip out of him that stops him hurting humans, so he can come back and like kill Buffy and kill everyone. And then you realise, nope, that's not what he was after. He gets his soul back. And it's like, what? And that's how series 6 ends, and you go, okay, I'm kind of interested into what next year is going to be about. What is this? And then series 7 kind of starts like a limp noodle a little bit. It's odd. It starts with a more interesting premise than it gives itself as an arc, because Willow's with Giles and the Watchers in England, like learning to basically go cold turkey on magic and be herself again. And
which
Buffy
is kind
and
of
Dawn's
not.
relationships
She's
like
basically
this.
just learning to use different kinds of magic, isn't she?
Yeah, and you're like, okay, let's see where this is going. But then they wrap that up in a few episodes, and I don't know, man. I don't hate season 7.
I don't hate season 7.
Season 7's my least favourite season of the show.
I actually quite like the finale, but
Chosen.
Yeah,
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
In fact, I kind of like the last few episodes actually.
I love you. No, you don't. But thanks for saying it.
Yeah,
It's
that's quite sweet.
Oh God!
I think it ends really well as a show.
What we do now? And she just smiles and boff. Show's done.
The fact that they got 2 chances to give it an ending and they kind of nail both of them.
Both finale. That's the thing.
Like,
both final episodes of the show are perfectly like pitched and executed. Yeah. Not even like early 2000s TV budget CGI can make Sunnydale falling into a pit, like, and covering the Hellmouth once and for all, look bad. Like, it still looks pretty damn good because they know their limitations and they work with it.
I think they overshoot a little bit here and there, but what are you going to do?
That's mostly because it's in broad daylight as well.
Yeah, it's
like,
a
that always
2003
ages
TV show. What are you going to do? But no, for the most part, I I dug it. I think there's too many potentials.
Yeah, because one of the
too many
arcs,
characters.
boys and girls. Yeah, one of the arcs is that the first evil. Is it because the first evil's basically going to kill all the potential slayers? They find all these girls who the slayer is like a lineage. It's basically mutant powers by mystical inheritance.
Yeah,
where,
so when one dies,
there are 100.
the next one gets their powers.
Yeah,
but...
and some of them know that they're potential slayers because, like, the Watchers Guild have figured out they're going to be slayers and they talk to them and they train them. Some don't know, some haven't been discovered yet. And in this series, the minions of the first evil, the Harbingers,
Bringers.
The Bringers. That's it. They start killing potential slayers. So Buffy gets the call out, and her team get as many of them as they can to Sunnydale to train them so that they can defend themselves and ultimately find a way to stop the
turns
first
up
evil.
with a bunch of them, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like, hello, I've not been here for a while. Anyway, here's a bunch of teenage girls who look scared and confused.
Yeah.
Enjoy!
Here's Felicia Day.
Yeah, a tiny Felicia Day. And Kennedy, who I don't hate, but it did feel too soon.
Like her.
But then one of the episodes addresses that it's too soon. And it's like, okay, like, even Willow's aware that, am I moving on super quick from the death of the love of my life?
Even with it
like,
being
it seems
too
pretty soon.
like, I just don't particularly care for her.
Yeah, she's sort of like Faith Light.
She's cocky
Faith without
and arrogant.
Faith without any of the charisma. And I don't think it's the actors. I don't think the actors' fault. I think it's that they almost were like, right, what do Slayers act like?
Yeah,
they're either Buffy or Buffy when she's a prick, aka Kendra, or Faith, but not as good as Faith. That's basically their It's an odd one. And the series then gets plagued because suddenly it becomes Buffy, who is like 24 or something at this point, if that. It becomes Buffy.
She's only 20.
Is she meant to be only 20?
Yeah, because Willow's still in college and they're the same age.
Yeah, she is, of course. Oh my god. Buffy, it becomes essentially surrogate mum and sensei to this group of 20 plus female characters, these extra characters who, I guarantee that there are potentials who don't speak once.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's a few that don't speak
who can't
once.
speak English, and that's a whole running gag. It's not a particularly funny running gag, but it is there.
No. Yeah, it's easy comedy.
Yeah,
it's easy comedy.
Very, very low-hanging fruit.
I mean, there's good stuff in there, but it's baggage. Like, because it's the last season. We really want to spend time with our friends. We want to spend time with the characters we've got to know for years. Giles is barely in the season, so we're hardly seeing him.
But when he is, though, when he is,
Tara's dead. Xander and Anya aren't the adorable thing that they grew to be, and it's like, this is horrible to see, but they kind of rekindle as the series goes on. Spike spends the first half of the series as a drooling maniac, because the soul in his head is now, all the people he's ever killed are now like in his head, basically berating him for it, although it turns out that's been spurned on by the first evil appearing to him as dead people. And the thing is, all of these situations lead to really cool individual episodes or threads. Like Andrew, one of the nerd trio, the big bads from the previous series, is lumped in with them because essentially he's their prisoner, but not the kind that you can just take to jail. So they sort of keep him around to protect him / punish him.
And he did some bad things, and he's kind of looking for redemption, but then he's also being manipulated by the first. And you get that really good episode.
Conversations with Dead People.
That's the one I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Storyteller.
Because that's the one where he comes back, isn't it? Because it's him. One of the threads.
Yeah,
is
that's
him
the one
and
where he
Jonathan.
comes back because that's when they open the sea. That's when he kills Jonathan. Yeah. But I'm thinking of Storyteller.
The Storyteller.
Which
now understand my red T-shirt? The one I wear, the one that's got the mutant enemy thing in the moon and everything.
Yeah,
it's the red T-shirt, and it's Buffy, Slayer of the Vampires.
Yes.
It's a Storyteller reference.
I do
Huzzah!
wish that he would stop saying vampires, but I also get why he's saying
vampires. Because that's how they're spelled, vampires. And you get some really good stuff. The scene at the end of the opening episode of Series 7, where the first evil's talking to Spike, and it's the first time you as the viewer kind of go, oh, it's that thing from Season 3, that one that appears as the dead. Is that what this is? And the way they show you is he basically transforms into it's a whole scene where the character's talking to Spike every big bad from the previous 6 seasons, and then Buffy. Because, of course, it can look like Buffy now because she has died twice. Like, it can look like her.
And also getting to see something as ridiculous as Adam again.
Oh, God. Well, just like the idea that it's like, ridiculous. Hey, Mark Metcalf, this is your cousin, Joss Metcalf. You know that crazy excuse for wearing the master prosthetics that you've been looking for? Well, listen to this! Because obviously he has not looked like that since season 3.
Nah.
When he appeared in The Wish. It's like, how many excuses does an actor get to be like, hey, you know that villain you played that was really good, but they were the big bad of that series, so we never seen them again, apart from that one-off. Do you want to come back to do literally about 30 seconds of dialogue? Sure. Why? Because every big bad is going to appear. Because what is it? He's the Master, and then he's Drusilla. Oh, Juliet Landau. And then he's Mayor Wilkins, who's fucking great. Yeah. He's so good.
Because he also gets a bit later with Faith, which is great.
Yeah, and then he becomes Adam, and then he becomes Glory, and then he turns into Warren, and then Buffy, and you're like, because of course in that scene you were like, right, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? They're obviously teasing
What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Yeah, because also this is a show that was around in the sort of, not the early days, but the sort of sophomore phase of the internet and message boards, and that kind of thing. Like
Buffy was one of the first fan bases to utilize chat rooms en masse and have communities online.
And that, of course, comes out of the wreckage of the X-Files, which was doing the same thing, but about 5 years before, when it was all on fucking Usenet. Yeah. Like, a lot of that started there, and then that developed with shows like Buffy into sort of full-on internet fandom.
Yeah.
And theorising and all that kind of stuff. I think Buffy's kind of the peak of that stuff when it really blew up and sort of went mainstream. I think due to
it was a pop culture buffet as well, because it was one of the few genre shows that was just openly pop culture referential, and their characters like describing things in ways that you just go, that sounds funny, and the other person in the room would go, oh my god, I got that reference. I understood what he was saying. Yeah, exactly. Which Joss Whedon then pays off in Avengers. I understood that reference.
Fuck me.
But yeah, it was one of those shows that people wanted to talk to other people about, and the internet was blooming. And
also, the back half of season 7, I feel, is aggressively feminist as well, in a really good way.
Yeah.
Like that whole segment with her just rejecting the wise men from going back to seeing the first Slayer created, and then finding the weapon, and then finding sort of the last survivor of another secret order who've been watching the Slayer.
Yeah.
We're like, the Watchers don't know shit. They're just old men who think they know what they're doing, but they don't.
Yeah.
And that sort of...
Yeah, love that shit. Because that whole thing of, like, going back to them and then being like, this is the destiny, this is the way it is, here's how we create... Because especially when it's like, here's how we created the first Slayer. Yes. And it's basically, we filled a girl with demons.
Yeah.
And it's like, against her will. You're like, wait, what? Sorry, what? And it's like, to fight the monsters, we had to make a monster. And that's what you are. You're just one in the long line of monsters. And she's just like, well, fuck that. Like, there are young girls who are going to die because of a decision you lot made. These 4 creepy old men in this tribe made has gotten young women killed for centuries. Like, fuck you. It's just like, good on her.
Which pays off wonderfully in the sort of montage sequence you get in the finale when Willow activates all the Slayers across the world.
Every potential around the world, even those who've yet to be found by the Bringers and Watchers and stuff. Like, you just, it's that one girl who's like playing baseball or whatever, isn't it? And
the bit that really slams it home is where you see a dude taking a swing at someone and she catches his hand and pushes him back. That's really good. That's a really great shot.
I mean, there's an epilogue story there where, like, she accidentally punches him too hard because she doesn't realise she could do that and obliterates him into the pavement and then gets arrested. But the point is, it is a powerful moment in the shot, and I'm making a joke. I'm not trying to undermine how powerful it is.
No.
But ironically, the series becomes more focused on being a feminist, like, being strong and feminine and everything. Ironically, after it's killed off a bunch of the potentials.
Yeah. It does.
It has to kill off a lot of its extended cast of female characters.
It does like
to do that.
throwing people under the bus.
But that's mostly to streamline it again to like, here's the family we've grown to love. Here are the few new characters that we've grown to know. Now we can focus on the direction and the finale and getting toward that point. Because of course this series you've got this is one of the series where it's like, I don't think they were still publishing the Monster Guide. No, they weren't. They did. No, they did the Watcher's Guide, Volume 1, 2, and 3. With like these guidebooks alongside the series, and they did one called the Monster Book.
Yeah.
That was series 1 to 4, and then they never did another. They didn't do a Monster Book Volume 2, and I'd argue that was probably because after series 5, 6 and 7 don't create that many new monsters, or indeed like creature concepts.
No, the only
a
really
lot of series
memorable
7
one from
are
series
vampires
7.
and the Ubervamp.
The Nal.
Oh, the Gnarl is definitely the one. Yeah, I spoke to Keeks about this actually. The Gnarl was always going to be the one where you'd be like, oh, the Gnarl, for those who don't know, is basically prosthetics Gollum with long nails that paralyze its prey, and then it, while the prey's alive, just sits on top of them and peels their skin off and eats it.
It's pretty great.
And that fate befalls a character who, due to a spell, is invisible to their friends, who are nearby and, of course, have no idea what's happening.
And also,
nightmare fuel.
It does also simultaneously induce some pretty neat physical comedy with Dawn, with paralysed Dawn.
Yes, that's just funny. But it's just, oh god, just the clacking of his nails and the way he talks like this. Yeah, and just like, oh my god,
it's very creepy.
No. He's like the last memorable one-off villain in the show, I think.
Yeah, because after that it is so focused on.
And he's in like episode 5. Yeah. So it's like, so we've got 17 more weeks of I mean, the Ubervamp is memorable, but it's very generic because it is just a beast.
Yeah.
And it only really pays off in the last the cliffhanger to before the last episode where you see, oh, there are thousands of these under the ground right now.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's gonna die. Although my contender for other memorable season 7 monster is the worm. The big fucking worm that's just eating people in like episode 2. Because it's just like, what? Yeah. And then when you find out it's the result of one of Anya's, like one of the scorned women who's wished on Anya. You're like, wait, what? It's just so cold and boring as a villainous threat, and that's kind of the point, because you realise that she's fueled by vengeance, but she's not a bad guy anymore. She's not coming up with these horrible malicious schemes. It's just, oh god, who's her boss again? What's he called?
Oh, I can't remember.
Just something or whatever. I can't really remember, but he's great. I like it. D'Hoffryn.
Oh yeah, okay.
D'Hoffryn, with the guy with the big beard and everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's great, and I'm trying to remember her name now. Her friend, who is throughout series 6, and then I think it's in that episode, D'Hoffryn kills her friend off in front of her. It's sort of like, stop being a pussy. She's dead now. Like, stop being a pussy. I've killed your friend. That's the point. Yeah, what was it? It's like she can leave being a chaos demon again, but she kills her friend in front of her as a point, and is like, there you go. Right, bye. Later, Anya. Like, your friend died because you pussied out on me. Bye. Halfrek, that's the one. She's great as well. There's a lot of great new characters in series 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Clem, he's a series 6 character, but he's in series 7 a few times. The guy with the excess skin, his floppy ears.
Yeah.
He's just this really kind of odd, gentle creature.
I love that guy.
And the best story arc in terms of early season subplot, and excuse to introduce a new character in Series 7 is the new Sunnydale High being built, and Buffy being a counsellor there, because you suddenly realise how much she's gone through in like the 4 years,
yeah,
3 years since she's left. And it's like the fact she already feels it's a precursor to her being mum to the Potentials. But it gives us an excuse for a brand new character, D.B. Woodside as Principal Wood.
Oh yeah.
Who's pretty damn great.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty damn great. And I think they were, when they were trying to think of what kind of, like, because ultimately it's a teen show at the end of the day. They were like, what kind of eye candy should we have this time? You know, a lot of our viewers are getting a bit older now, have they're making a big point about the fact they fancy the shit out of Giles. Should we
we
get
do
another Should we get another older mentor kind of character?
Should we split the difference, maybe?
Should we make the principal like a hot 30-something? Should we do this? Let's do this. And they just do it. And he's great. And his connection to the world of the Slayers, as we learn later on.
Yeah.
And that flashback to the subway fight scene, and that whole episode of flashbacks to Spike's like past, early one morning, just as the sun was rising, all that stuff. It's like, that is great. It's just these individual peaks that are really good.
As far as character arcs and growth go, fucking Spike, man.
Series 7 is his finest hour.
It's great.
In terms of main cast Spike. Like, for me, I still love Series 2. He's just a villain Spike.
Oh, yeah.
He's phenomenal. But as part of the main cast, Series 7 is his finest hour. It's so good.
Actually giving that character depth and a journey. And also, I kind of think it's an interesting... There's something there that vampires can be redeemed.
Yeah.
But it's so hard.
You see that they can be emotional.
Yeah.
Because you see that with his origin. Like, he looks after a sick mum, he's bitten and sired and becomes a vampire, and the first thing he does is he sires his mum so she can live forever. And then his vampire mum turns around and is like, great, by the way, I hate you. You're a weedy little prick. I wish you were dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, it hurts him. And you're like, wait a minute. Because the series establishes in the first series so much that vampires aren't the person you knew.
No.
They're a demon walking around in their body. But the more the show goes on, the more vampires you get to know long term, you realise it's kind of halfway between that. Like, they are somewhat still the person they were.
Well, because, there's the guy in Conversation with Dead People, the newly signed vampire, who still has all his... He's got... His personality's changed, but he's still who he was, sort of.
Yeah. I love that.
And that's
I freaking love that one.
That's an interesting dichotomy, I think.
And, oh god, Conversations with Dead People is sublime.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good. So, overall, though, would you say it was, out of the seasons you recall, and what you've watched recently, and what you've watched peripherally, like, as Keeks has been binging and stuff?
Yeah.
Would you say 7's like your least favourite?
No, I think so.
Or are you still kind of the Initiative season 4 sort of? That's not my Buffy.
Season 4's fine, but I just don't think it's as interesting as
it's got Hush and Restless.
It's got but what else has it got? It's got a lot of Riley.
It's got a lot of
and a lot of dudes in khaki.
But what did you think about the Riley episode in Series 6? Because that suddenly makes you go like, oh, I kind of miss this guy in a weird way.
He's fine. It's just,
It's written knowing that not everyone loved him.
Yeah.
And it makes you sort of go, no, hang on, stick around. But at the same time, you're happy for him. And the way his story goes has gone.
The whole Initiative thing, it was overreaching their means of what they had the idea to realise. Although I do also feel like the downfall of the Initiative is also a dry run for the end of Cabin in the Woods. Yes.
When I watched Cabin in the Woods the first time, I was like, oh shit, it's the Initiative. Like, that's just what it felt like. And especially at the end where there's just a shit. I mean, right down to there being like a big snake thing in the pit in like the main lab area.
Yeah.
I like the giant, like, venomous one in the lift sequence when everything goes to shit in Cabin in the Woods.
That's such a great sequence. God, yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Also, Fear Itself and Superstar are in Series 4.
Okay.
And Superstar's freaking wonderful.
Okay.
Like, the credits start, and you're just like, what? Wait, why is it all Jonathan? What is happening? What is going on? How did you feel when they killed him off? In Conversations with Dead People.
Yeah, like...
Because Jonathan's arguably, up to that point, the most sympathetic of the trio. The nerd trio.
I think out of the two of them, initially I would prefer that Jonathan stuck around, but I think Andrew had more of a journey to go on. So I think they had to kill Jonathan as well to show you that they weren't taking prisoners this year. I think he's the earliest... Is he the earliest death in the season of a character we've known for a long time? I believe so, yeah.
And it's sort of like their way of going, and taking no prisoners. Okay.
That being said, we don't actually lose much of the core cast.
Oh no! Well, like what I mean is that they make a point out of taking characters and bumping them off. Like Halfrek. Halfrek is an enjoyable character to spend time with as a performance and everything.
Yeah.
And then they just kill her like that. She's gone. And then Jonathan gets stabbed, and they tease you that the first evil is going to appear as Tara, and you're like, no, don't you fucking dare! Like, don't you tear apart that legacy? What are you doing?
And then that's what Amber Benson said. So she didn't.
Yeah, it was sort of a mix. She was like, I'm not available, but also I think it's wrong that might be my last appearance. So I completely understand her turning it down. And if anything, I think it's more effective because it's Cassie. Is that her name from the cult? The one with the cult. They were going to sacrifice her.
Yeah,
like that's more effective because she was a really likable, sweet character who suddenly is now a mask for this horrible thing. And then when she fucking smiles and she wants to go away, and she just smiles and her head just extends backwards.
That's quite great. I like that.
So horrible. And then of course they soften the blow for you for a bit. They tease you that people might die. And then in the last one, they kill off 2 characters in the last episode. Just kill them off. They're dead now. The saddest... Spikes is great, but it's the reveal of Anya's corpse in the foreground as they're running out, and Xander's like, where is she? And like they're just having to go, and she's just there in the foreground. No one spotted her. And then Andrew confirms that she died, like, at the end. Also...
She goes out hard as well.
The final Angel tie-in is quite nice because it does pay off something that was happening in Angel Season 4. Like, that talisman, that thing is part of the story arc of Angel at the time.
Yeah.
So and in that story it wraps up and it's like, well, we've still got this thing. It's like, well, I guess it's not for me then. So, well, who else could it be? And then he obviously goes to Sunnydale and learns what he learns. It's like, right, well, here's your superpowered, like, thing to give Spike. Good luck. So, which is sort of like a cop-out. It's a bit Deus Ex Machina until you realise, it doesn't make him super strong or whatever. It will kill him to save the day. So it's still kind of oh, shit.
But it's okay, we're going to get him back.
Yeah, in a scene that's so good at the end of the first episode of Angel Season 5. It's so well done. This, like, swirling camera shot of this skeleton just reforming. It's horrible. Neither living nor dead. But also Series 7 gives us Caleb.
Oh, fucking Nathan Fillion's so great in this.
Yes,
he's so good.
It's so rare we see him as a. It's so rare we see him as a villain.
Oh,
like Captain Hammer, yeah, but Captain Hammer's a comedy villain.
Wow.
Like this is
so good.
Oh, he's every Far Cry villain rolled into one.
That's one thing you could take away.
Like, he's so creepy,
and he'd still be a really threatening, like, sort of serial killer character. That's why that's why he's so interesting. And I think once he turns up, those last few episodes of the season are just like bang, 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 bang. It's kind of almost like waiting to get there, and then once it does, it fucking hits you.
He's the closest we've had to Glory in terms of just like, here is a humanoid-looking actor making the most sinister character they can.
Oh yeah,
out of what you've given them. Like Claire Kramer's Glory is phenomenal.
Yeah, Glory's great.
And it seems to be every other season, really. Like Spike and Drew in early Series 2, and arguably Angelus at the end of Series 2, but then Mayor Wilkins in Series 3, then Glory in Series 5, and then Caleb in Series 7, where you've just got an actor looking like themselves being the scariest thing on screen in the show. Surrounded by monsters and mutants and robots and all this stuff, and yet they're the scariest thing in it. He's great, and when he sort of briefly resuscitates at the start of the last episode, and he's like all that goo's just like black blood because his blood's black. It's just pouring out of his eyes and his mouth. Just, are you ready to finish this? He's just spitting it out. Oh, it's horrible. And the fact that it's him, Angel and Buffy take him down. It's again bookended.
That she makes the split gag and they both crack up.
Yes,
that's great. But hold on,
like they both realize
cat out before it pulls a wire out or something.
Oh God! In conclusion, folks, if you really want us at some point to do a Buffy episode, because let's be honest, we happily do one, I think. Let us know, because I would sit down to wax lyrical about Buffy till the cows come home, and then stay home and wash their hooves. So yeah, that's the thing that we could do one day.
Honestly.
I just postulated that if they finally want us to do a Buffy special, now's the time to let us know. Email bigdamcontact@gmail.com.
Oh, it's funny you should say that.
Oh,
We've got some emails.
Segway!
Right. This one comes in from Sam, who recently emailed us with asking for recommendations for...
The Moon.
Asking for recommendations for Big Finish stuff. And Sam says, hello. Hello, Christopher and Matt.
Hello.
Question 1 of 1.
Oh.
Doctor Who DVDs. This one is for Christopher. I have DVDs as well, you know. I'm going to be doing it... Just saying, Sam.
Matt's got DVD, yeah, but you've also got a Plex server. You're too trendy.
Yeah, but my Plex server is populated by my DVDs.
What?
That I have ripped and digitized.
You've ripped and teared them and popped them in your Plex.
Yeah, that's what we do. But I love mashing.
Oh, what's that? Ripping and tearing from that game? Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah,
that's what Isabel does. So he says, this one is for Christopher. I'm going to be doing a You and Lucy, and I'm going on a Doctor Who marathon, but do not have lots of money. Can you tell me what Who DVDs to get? I haven't gotten any Patrick Troughton or Colin or McCoy. I have an Amazon list for Doctor Who DVDs, and I need the TV movie. Good morning, good night, goodbye from Sam.
So what you're saying is, like, if you're not spending a lot of money, what sort of essentials do you want to hit in the range?
I think so.
And
haven't got any Troughton, haven't got any Colin, haven't got any McCoy. So I'm going to tell you right now, you need to get yourself Tomb of the Cybermen.
Tomb of the Cybermen, absolutely. If you want a one-off Colin, I would say if you're just going for one Colin, Vengeance on Varos. Yeah, because he's stellar in that. But if you can stretch a little further, get hold of Trial of a Time Lord box set. I can imagine now that the Blu-ray of it is out, the DVD will be much cheaper.
There is so... It's annoying because Colin does some of his best work in Trial of a Time Lord, but it's also some of the worst scripts he has.
Oh, sure, but it's quotable as sin.
Yeah, it's definitely a guilty pleasure. I have fond memories of being... off school with the flu and just watching it on VHS. Yeah, good times.
I mean, if I had to pick my favourite Colin story, it's Revelation of the Daleks.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Like, but he's not in it much. That's the problem.
No, it's not a very Colin story. It's a great story, but he's not that prominent in it. He just kind of wanders around and then encounters the plot about halfway through the second half.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's the plot's been happening, and here I am now.
See if you can find for a decent nick the Trial of a Time Lord box set. Because like Matt says, the stories aren't the best, but I don't think many of the stories in Colin's era are the best.
No,
but there's a lot of Colin in that box set.
There's a lot of Colin, and he does good work.
And you get two different companion combinations, and you get a bit of Master.
Yeah,
you get a story arc which you can watch over the 4 stories. Like, you know,
you get Bonnie Langford screaming in the same key as the title music.
Yeah, you get carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice. You'll find yourself using the word sagacity in response to people for months. And McCoy.
I want to watch Trial of a Time Lord now.
If you had to pick a single McCoy,
Curse of Fenric.
If you had to narrow, Fenric. I was going to say if you had to narrow it down, it's got to be either Fenric or Remembrance.
Yeah, Remembrance is a good shout if you want a bit of Dalek flavour.
Yeah, some good solid Dalek stuff, plus very kind of... It's the closest story alongside Survival to a story that feels like the modern era.
Is it probably the first good McCoy story as well?
Let's have a look. 'Cause I'm trying to remember what's up. See, his first series is not great.
His first properly good one, not like guilty pleasure good one like Paradise Towers.
What's the first? Oh, Remembrance is the first one of his second season, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, it's the first good one.
It's the first good McCoy one. Yeah, you can probably ignore most of McCoy's first season until you're getting into the completionist bit of it.
Do ignore McCoy's first season. It's not good.
Apart from Paradise Towers. Paradise Towers is bad, but it's fun.
Bits of Paradise Towers are good, like Richard Briers and the lesbian cannibal elderly women, and the pink TARDIS
and Pecs.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. You'll enjoy watching his first season eventually when you are prepared for the worst and are a bit tipsy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tomb of the Cybermen. Should we say Time of the Trial of a Time Lord if you can get it, and Curse of Fenric or Remembrance of the Daleks?
Yes.
For some quintessential of those eras is what I'd recommend.
Yes. In terms of other just general Doctor Who essentials,
the beginning box set, if you can get hold of it.
Yep. Pyramids of Mars. Best Doctor Who story ever.
Yeah, God, yeah.
Robots of Death.
Oh, yeah. For Tom, Pyramids of Mars, Robots of Death, or City of Death.
Yeah. Or
if you're gonna pick one,
actually, you could just do. Yeah, there's too much Tom. I can't.
Yeah,
we can't.
We're
here all day.
In our watch along right now. We're on Nightmare of Eden, which I haven't seen before. So,
I've never seen Nightmare of Eden.
We're having a good time because we're on season 17. So we watched Destiny of the Daleks. Christ, and then we watched City of Death. Then we watched City of Death.
City of Death
hooray.
Is almost perfect. Yeah, it's really good.
It holds up so
really
bloody
good.
well. It holds up so freaking well. And then we got through The Creature from the Pit, which I hadn't watched for years, and I forgot. Isn't terrible. It's just very soap opera-y, especially from its villain.
Yeah.
What's her name? Adestra, and is remembered mostly for the bits where Tom blows into what is clearly the knob of a big green blob. It's so odd. Like, why were they like, right, so in each shot we'll have one tentacle and it will just look like a cock and balls.
Yeah.
And Tom, we want you to blow in the end of it. All right, okay, I'm Tom Baker. I don't give a shit. At the minute, I'm enjoying.
Suggested it.
Yeah, at the minute, I'm enjoying the job, but mostly because at the end of the day, me and my co-star go home and have sex. So, and next year, I'll clearly not be having fun anymore.
Yes.
And not giving a shit.
Which, to be fair, actually adds to his last couple of stories.
Latter season 18, Tom is enjoyably bored.
I love Logopolis because it's just so melancholy.
Yeah. Yeah. But then he gives it in his last scene. Like, he gives it in a way where you're like, he knows that this is the last that you're going to see of him and it's going to be used in clip shows forever. So he's really wonderfully twinkly and it's like, yay!
Twinkle, 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 Tom.
Hang on, the vet from Creatures Great and Smalls appeared. What's Tristan doing here?
He's alright, he's handsome.
He's a handsome boy.
What's an essential Davison?
Earthshock is one that people will tell you to watch.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good Cybermen story.
Androzani.
Caves Androzani.
Ironically, his last one.
Yeah, 5 Doctors. Because he is the most prominent Doctor in it.
It's not very good, though.
But it's a film. So if you're going to marathon, one of them's a film. You sit down and put on an hour and 50
Troll 2
minute
is a film. It doesn't make it worth watching.
But Troll 2 doesn't talk about the terrible Zodin without ever explaining what that is.
Sonic the Hedgehog is a film.
Yeah, but does it have the terrible Zodin in it?
Oh no.
Does it have
Mind Probe?
Richard Hurndall eating pineapple, to quote a couple of friends in their tweets this week, like he eats pussy?
Now there's an image I'm not going to be able to get out of my head no matter how hard I try.
As easy as pie. As easy as pie.
Next one comes in from Ian.
We didn't give a John story.
Next one comes in from Ian.
Green Death.
He's done this just to spite me.
Oh God.
The title is 80s genre films that the whole family could enjoy.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well done, Ian.
And the image is... I'm going to show you, Christopher. Oh, I can't.
It's alright, hang on. Here it is. What the hell is going on there? Is that the absorbal off in his trailer?
Yes.
Why?
It's the absorbal off in a lovely pair of black underwear in his trailer.
Why?
Because my heroes are dead and my enemies are in power.
Oh, God.
This one comes in from Tom. Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Tom is also known as Tom. Tommy 1995 007 on Twitch.
Oh, yes, Tom. Tom watches the Twitch streams from time to time. Hello, Tom.
He says. Firstly, allow me to congratulate you guys at hitting 200 episodes. Well done.
Oh,
it couldn't have happened to a nicer pair of blokes.
Oh, dankeschön.
Oh, yeah, because we killed all the nice ones. Secondly, who is your favourite out of all of the masters in Doctor Who and why?
Oh, good question.
All the best for many, many more episodes in the future. Congratulations again. Thank you, Tom.
Dankeschön, Tom. Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
Which is German for thank you, Tom, 1995 007.
It's
Delgado.
Delgado, yeah. Because
Roger Delgado. The OG.
Because he's just so fucking suave.
The actor the part was written for.
Yeah.
He was introduced as a Moriarty to the Doctor's Sherlock Holmes.
Which is not to say I don't love all the other masters, because I kind of do.
I mean, let's shoot through and give him a compliment, because I feel like we've just gone Delgado next. So who is it? Pratt? Is Pratt next or Beavers?
They're basically the same.
Pratt and Beavers, crispy masters, cool. They're basically crispy Delgado. They're creepy monster men. Sure.
Yeah.
Ainley, tons of fun.
Campus Christmas.
And then really understated and sinister in his last TV appearance in Survival.
Yeah.
And then Campus Christmas in his last canonical appearance as the character in the video game Destiny of the Doctors.
Oh, love it.
Where he's having a whale of a time.
Beautiful. It's actually perfect.
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts is just...
I don't hate him.
It's masterfully bad.
Yay! That's the thing. He's going off of Ainley's camp.
Yeah.
He's just doing that.
It's panto villain. It's 90s panto villain. Love it. I love it.
Where the Asian child. Gross, the Asian child. Oh my god. But that's the thing. He's having fun playing a camp ass master, and he's obviously had enough fun with it that when Big Finish have been in touch in the last couple of years and been like, look, we want to do a thing, and here's how much it'll be, and this, that, and the other. He's gone, do you know what? Sure, why not? I'll do it again. He probably doesn't need to.
Why
but he's like, fine, I'll play the master in audio. Go for it. Because Pratt Beavers and Eric Roberts are the three masters who are basically the body on borrowed time masters.
Yeah. Got a real ticking clock.
Because Ainley's in another body, but he's not going to die or disintegrate anytime soon. So
no.
He's basically an incarnation. Jacoby's brief appearance is
just wonderful. It
great.
Redefines the character for a new generation in about a minute.
Yeah, like her in Day of the Doctor, you absolutely buy that he is an incarnation of this character.
Yeah,
in a tiny amount of screen time, because just the pedigree of the performer is what they rely on to sell it, and he's excellent. John Sim, perfect match for Tennant. Exactly what the Master needed to be opposite that Doctor.
Yeah, that's when the Master works best. It's the yin yang kind of thing.
Manic supervillain.
I think
he's the Joker. He's the Joker. Like he's the Joker version of the Master. This is the closest you're going to get to that cackling maniac. Well, now that I've said that, I'm not huge on Missy, but that's not down to Michelle Gomez. Her performance is what I like about her incarnation.
Yeah, I think it's the weakest version of the Master on screen, but I don't think that's because she's poor fit. I think it's just because the scripts are bad.
Yeah, it's the whole thing
of generally poorer, but I like what she does with the character, and I like her chemistry with Capaldi, and basically everyone she's on screen
chemistry with Peter's brilliant. And her first appearance and the way she acts, first proper appearance, like in Dark Water and everything, the way she, and the start of Death in Heaven, yeah, that stuff's
Dark
creepy.
Water,
Like
Death in Heaven.
Yeah, and just the easy, like, no sweat, doesn't give a shit murder of Osgood and stuff. It's like, whoa!
Yeah, that's great.
You sort of go, okay, this is all right. She's vicious, and then the fact her plan turns out to be kind of stupid but psychotic, and you're like,
they all
there's no,
are.
yeah, but like in a way where you sort of go, oh, this master's not working toward domination. This is we are in Joker territory now. Like that's where we're up to, and you can see that's a trait of Moffat's work. Like that is how Jackman behaves. Not Jackman. What's his name? Jackman's the Jekyll allegory. Do you know what I mean? In Jekyll. Oh my god, what's he called?
I don't know because it's rubbish.
Hyde's got a different name because he kicks the guy's arse in the alleyway in the first episode, and then he literally takes his name, and I can't remember what it is. It'll come to me. But he like the Hyde equivalent of that is very Joker, and his the way he writes Moriarty is very Joker, and the way he writes Missy is very Joker. So that kind of starts to break it apart eventually because you're like, oh, she's the same as all these others.
Oh, I see what he's doing here. Yeah.
And he's going to try and make her a good guy, and it's left ambiguous. But we know it doesn't work ultimately because then you've got Dewan, who from the appearances we've had so far,
so good.
He's excellent. He's great, and again, he's like a manic little pixie. He's like this creepy, dangerous sort of impish character.
A manic little nihilism pixie. He just wants to burn everything down. He's really good. He's like if you put Patrick Troughton and Sylvester McCoy in one body, but made them pure evil. Yeah.
Like right down to his design, he looks like a Troughton doctor.
Yeah, he is like an evil second doctor almost.
Complete with the check trousers and like the clothes not quite fitting and so I like them all, but it's Delgado, just the suaveness, the glorious moments where he panics, where he realizes he's actually in the shit and he's screwed up.
Yeah, it's the fact that you can have that calm. Oh shit!
Yeah,
he goes from so collected to panicking really well. Sea Devils is actually a really good outing for him.
He likes being evil, but in the way where he commits his evil acts and then doesn't cackle. He's sort of like, right, could someone tidy that up, please? And then he moves on. You're like, okay.
Clean up that body. I'm going to go and watch the Clangers.
Yeah. Oh my god, what is that story? It's like his second or third. Which one is it?
Sea Devils.
No. It's like his second or third story that's like his fully. Terror of the Autons.
Mind of Evil, I think, which I haven't seen.
Mind of Evil. Mind of Evil is excellent because it's him working behind the scenes of politics and trying to get the world, like sort of set the world at each other's throats. No, not Mind of Evil. No, Mind of Evil is his third one, which is also excellent, where he's like doing mind experiments on the prisoners and like creating a machine that absorbs pure hatred and uses fear to kill them. Oh my god, what is it? It's going to bug me if I don't.
I don't know.
1 second, I've got it. No, I don't. I thought I had it. Oh my god, which one is it? Give me 1 second, because it's going to drive me insane.
Because whatever it is, I've not seen
god!
it.
What is it?
Unless I've seen it and forgotten
What is it, Shelf? Help me out here. Not Mind of Evil, not Claws of Axos, not... But hang on, wait. I'm an idiot. No, I'm an idiot. You're right. It is Mind of Evil, because it starts with all the political intrigue and the setting up of the world's councils, whilst the prison stuff is also going on.
Okay.
I think that's the one, anyway.
I haven't seen Mind of Evil, so I can't confirm or deny.
It shows how sinister he is, and like this chess playing like evil hypnotist who like puts everyone at odds with each other, and the Doctor and Unit always tend to stumble into what's happening.
You're a real motherfucker, basically.
At like phase 9 of 10.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh shoot, yeah. No, that stuff is excellent.
Demons,
Delgado
man.
is so good.
So good.
The Demons, yeah. Was it what's his name? Reverend Magister.
Yeah. Just so fucking blatant.
And the Sea Devils, like you said, like he's been organising a plot from within his maximum security cell.
And also, that sword fight is just glorious.
Makes me rather hungry. I find it makes me rather hungry. Don't you?
Just fucking, I'm gonna beat you down and then nick your sandwiches.
just shoot. Oh god, him and John played off against each other so well too.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's why they didn't bring him back for so long.
Yeah,
because
it was like the tragic death of him in real life. It's like we can't do this. So that they find the right way by being like, oh, turns out he's been, he's been up to lots of stuff since we last saw him, and now he's basically a walking corpse.
Yeah,
and he needs to revitalize himself. Oh, that is great. Yeah.
And of course, Big Finish will fill that in for you. I'll fill it all in.
Big Finish. We hate gaps.
We do hate gaps. So yeah, that's our takes on the Masters. Not going into the Big Finish Masters because I'm not listening to any of those stories. Okay. Last email. It's a big one.
Sorry, I was thinking like Alexander McQueen, Mark Gatiss under a pseudonym, and Jeffrey Beavers as a sort of non-specific incarnation. Sometimes the crispy one, sometimes another.
Jeffrey Beavers.
Yeah. Soon. And more Derek Jacobi. I'm sure there's been another Masters. James Turf. Sorry, no, Turf Dreyfus. I can't remember. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, yeah, that one.
The future uncredited, as we shall call him.
Last one comes in from Simon.
Hey, Simon.
He says, hey, Big Damn Boys.
Hey, Big Damn
here.
Simon.
He says, I'd just like to thank the both, or multitude of you, as Charlie and Lucy and Kanisha also make their appearances in various forms, for keeping us, the Big Damn fans, sane during this mad, weird and turbulent time. Just like Alan Rimmer was brought back as a hologram to keep Dave Lister sane way back in Series 1 of Red Dwarf. Not only have you been doing weekly podcasts as of this day, up to episode 201. Yep, this is 201. It is 201, isn't it?
Also known as 20-0.
21.
20-0 and 2001.
2001. But also daily Chris streams and twice weekly Matt streams, barring the occasional gremlin problem, on Twitch and bringing your fans together whilst keeping the social distancing rule and the occasional Big Damn Love. Looking forward to its return once this nightmare has passed. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with Big Damn Love. I think we need to we'll need to revisit the Patreon and stuff once we come out of this, but we'll have a think about that.
Yeah. Without going into too much detail, we were about to do something very different.
And it kind of...
about a week before it all went to shit.
Yeah. I know that feeling. Hopefully, by the time you read this on the Big Damn Cast podcast, it'll be my birthday, May the 1st. So it would be an ideal birthday present for the both of you if you give me a Big Damn birthday shout out. Happy birthday, Simon!
May all your birthdays be like wash your hands.
Happy New Year.
Happy Halloween, Shrove Tuesday.
Technically, it is a Simon New Year. It's a new Simon year. There we go. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Have a lovely
We
one.
sing the song, but we're frightened of copyright laws from 5 years ago.
Also, we'd be terribly out of sync.
That's true.
There's a bit of delay.
Oh, God.
On this thing,
and what if we do it at different octaves and it ends up like that Imagine video? You've seen the play along, right?
Yeah, it's awful. It's almost beautiful. As awful as just watching the video normally. Shout out must also go to Lucy and her Crafty Craft Bears and the contribution the proceeds are helping towards the NHS. Keep up the wonderful and amazing work, Lucy. Look from me and Oms from the Om Squad. Take good care of yourselves. All of you nearest and dearest. Keep up the wonderful, entertaining and amazing work. Doing a sterling job entertaining us, and remember not to overwork yourselves too much and take a break when you can. Thank you. Simon, that's a wonderfully positive note to end the show on for this week.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon.
It's
probably a bad time to announce this is our last episode.
Yes, no, it's not. Or is it? It's not.
6 seasons and a movie. 5 seasons and then another 2 seasons for some reasons.
Big Damn Cast, 100 years, BigDamnCast.com.
Oh, God.
100 years. So
it's funny you say that as the thing near the camera lens that I'm looking at you through is making the light in your room dim and bright and dim and bright and dim, like a flickering strip light.
Yes, good.
As you say, 100 years, Big Dumb Cast, and I lie on the floor twitching.
Be glad that this is not, in fact, a video podcast. But yes, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for listening, folks. We'll be, as this, increasingly fractured and strange time marches on, and we endeavour to offer some sort of
solace, some sort of physical relief,
some sort of bullshit,
some kind of bullshit.
We'll be back
some
here
kind of soul
next week, still separated by the barrier of quarantine and pining for each other. So
we should leave each other. We should leave each other coded items and treasure hunt in our local Asda.
Oh yes, it's behind the all bran. Oh no, the grannies have taken it all.
COVID items.
They've got to stay regular. You know what?
I can't find toilet paper, so I need to make them as solid as possible.
Oh, I knocked everything over.
That's all right.
You know
You're
what
in a sound studio, it's fine.
You know what really pisses me off about shopping in the time of the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Look at the fucking arrows on the floor! Look at the arrows on the floor and follow the fucking arrows. Don't give me funny looks because you're getting too close to me when you're walking the wrong way down a wrong fucking way system. Anyway, you can come back here and catch us next week. We'll be back with some more. Of course, Chris is streaming pretty much every day on Twitch. I'm on there Mondays and Fridays doing Adventures in Backlogging. Twitch.tv/BigDamnStream. Follow us on Twitter @BigDamnCast. And yeah, just check there for all the latest goings on. We do have a Patreon, but everything's fucking awful at the moment, so don't worry about it. If you do want to give us a bit of money, it's patreon.com/BigDamnCast. We love you all. Stay safe. And remember, just look at the fucking arrows on the floor and just, if it's a one-way system in a shop, just follow the one-way system. Don't give me funny looks, you just want to come around and get a bit cheap.
Play the music. Play the
music. My fucking neck.
Play the music. Play the
music. Don't get too fucking close to me. I don't want COVID-19.
Play the music!